In December 2022, Nathan McGovern bravely debates Piers Morgan, which ends up with Piers eating a steak in front of the vegan activist.
You see, all you've achieved is you've made me want to do this. Just
That's
eat a lovely...
absolutely fine. You go for it.
The very last thing on earth that will stop me eating steak is people like you with your pasty faces running into our restaurants telling us to stop eating steak. That's the very last thing I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Because you don't represent to me
Piers.
Vitality or good health. You just all look like you want a good bit of steak.
However, the next guest who unwisely challenges Piers is a plus-size model who has no comeback other than embarrassingly calling Piers fat.
You're still
I'm
fat
actually reasonably
too.
healthy.
You're still fat
I'm reasonably fit. Well, you might think I'm fat. Most viewers are looking at this and think they're not seeing me as morbidly obese, right?
But you're still fat. You being less
I'm not in
fat
Miley
than
Cyrus's
me
pop
doesn't
video.
make, you know.
I'm not in a pop video, am I? Extolling
But
the
you're on
virtues of my
TV.
body.
You're on TV. You're on TV every day.
I am reflecting and celebrating a clinically dangerous level of weight, you think?
I think that if you were really concerned about glorifying obesity, you would take yourself off the air.
But I'm not obese. It's just a statistical medical fact.
You're fat, though.
But that was nothing compared to Esther Kraku's interview, where they were debating gender pronouns, where Piers said that his pronouns were a black lesbian.
Okay, why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
I'm serious. I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I, on International Women's Day, say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd status.
I think
we're
that's
talking
what.
about quite a
With
strong
respect, I think that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you said ridicules trans people.
Piers Morgan's views on gender is challenged once again, as the next guest is Amy Nichol, who questions Piers' views on men being mothers instead of fathers.
To mother and to father are not gender specific.
They are gender specific.
No, they're not.
Why are we pretending
the
otherwise?
Skills
Of course
to
they're
mother
gender
and to
specific.
father can be acquired.
Are you a woman?
Well, yes, I am a woman. Are you a man? I am a woman, but I'm also capable of the skills it takes to father a child. Similarly, you are a man and you are capable of the skills to mother a child. I would hope, I'm not sure though, because nurturing, caring, is that in your capabilities?
I brought up 4 kids very well, but they've always known who their dad is and who their mum is. What's wrong with that?
However, Piers gets even more offended at this American pro-gun campaigner who says that guns are less dangerous than chocolate eggs.
You can't buy a Kinder Surprise chocolate egg because they're deemed to be unsafe to Americans. But you can buy, as this man did, an AR-15 rifle, which is capable of firing up to 60 bullets a minute.
And I'm very happy you brought up your Kinder Egg red herring, because I did some checking after you brought it up the last time we talked about this, and it turns out that choking on candy is one of the top 5 causes of childhood mortality in the United States, according to the CDC. Firearms, accidental firearms deaths don't even rank in the top 10.
Okay, Dan, you know, you're not...
Sorry.
I
I can't let this go. I'm sorry, Susanna. You're genuinely trying to tell us that in a country where 32,000 people a year are killed by guns, that eating candy is more dangerous.
Instead of Piers becoming very agitated, this next interview takes a different turn as he makes one of his guests, Jordan Peterson, cry.
I want to ask you just quickly, the film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
Sure, why not? You know, people have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. You know, what a terrible thing to do that is.
Do you believe you're a net force for good?
Net? Yes. In all the details? Probably not. You know, no one's perfect. So, people make their mistakes as they stumble uphill.
Jordan's been a fascinating interview. Thank you very much.
There's still some outrageously offensive interviews to come, and now let's look to see what happens when Piers is insulted being called the worst word in the English language.
What are all these dog whistles and talking points?
They're not dog whistles and talking points. They are legitimate areas of concern. You can't just call everyone who disagrees with you transphobic.
Shut up, please.
If you keep swearing, I'll have to cut you off.
You can go and have a look at their websites. You can have a look at their Twitters. Like, they are transphobic.
Yes, but I am
Kelly
talking
J.
to you.
Keane was kicked out of
I just said to you, all right, if you're going
out of Women's Place UK for being
if you don't
racist,
want to have a civilized conversation with me,
people.
okay, look, I'm trying to give you a chance. I've explained my position. What is your problem with my position?
I don't really know. I'm going to leave the interview now. I kind of only came on here because I thought it would be kind of funny. But I want to say you're and you're a fascist.
Chess is a game of skill, and Piers moves his next guest into checkmate. He debates with the Taliban leader whether or not women should be allowed to go to school.
Just for the record, you have 2 daughters. Do they go to school?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, of course.
And with
of course they do, because you're in Doha and they can go to school, right?
They are observing hijab. They are observing hijab, and so that means we have not denied.
So
we
they behave.
We have not denied to our people.
So if they do exactly, if your daughters do exactly what you tell them, they're allowed to get. Okay, so your daughters get an education because. Wait a minute. Your daughters get an education because they do what you tell them. All right? I'm glad we clarified that.
Talking about hypocrites, this next guest might be one of Piers' most famous. In this interview, he has a very condescending argument with a vegan and animal rights protester.
Do you eat almonds?
I'm here to talk about the climate crisis.
Answer my question. Do you eat almonds or drink almond milk?
I drink plant-based milk.
You do. And do you eat avocados?
I eat a plant-based diet.
Do you eat avocados?
We're asking the government.
Do you eat avocados? Yes?
A leading study from...
Do you eat... It's an interview. You don't just answer different questions. Do you eat avocados?
I eat a plant-based diet, which
Do you eat avocados?
Yes.
Yes? You do? Great. Do you know how avocados and almonds get made?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yes.
So you realise that in California, every year, for 6 weeks, they fly in billions of bees to create your almonds and avocados, and in that process, several billion bees get murdered. This is a bee. Right? That's a bee. That, last time I checked, is a living animal. Billions get slaughtered so that you, sitting here, pontificating in between smashing up our buildings, so that you can have your almonds and your avocado. And I say to you, why don't you care about the little guys?
Can I say that
It's total hypocrisy, isn't it? You don't care about bees being murdered?
Will you let me speak, Piers?
Huh?
Will you let me speak? I'd
Why
really
are you
like to
laughing? It's not funny.
Piers is certainly a controversial man with some very offensive guests. Watch any of the other videos on screen for more of my content and consider subscribing.